guys, and welcome back to an episode of Off the Shelf. I'm your host, RNTMHD, and this week, what we found off the shelf was...
Sometimes the pink opaque feels more real than real life.
Maddie, it was a TV show.
Are you sure that's all it was? Something's wrong. This isn't how life is supposed to feel.
What if I really was someone else? Very far away on the other side of a television screen.
I saw the TV Glow, released in 2024, produced, or at least distributed, by A24. This was directed by Jane Schoenbrun. I believe I'm saying that correctly. Sorry if I butchered that. Starring Justice Smith and, what was her first name? Bridget Lundy Payne? Sorry if I butchered that name as well. Sorry, these people got strange names. But, this film is a horror drama. It's more of a drama, in my opinion, than a horror film. It's definitely very powerful. Now, I'm going to go into this film saying that this film is absolutely an allegory for transgenderism, since the director of this film is transgender themselves. But I think this film is, even though this is quite obviously a allegory for transgenderism, I do think that it can be broader than that. Like, the film is the message can be interpreted as more than just, like, transitioning. It can be even broader, like, not being yourself, not, like, lying to yourself and being in denial about who you really are, you know, and that's what this film is about. So, Justice Smith, the main character of this film, he is, like, kind of an outcast, right? He's socially awkward, he's shy, he doesn't really talk to that many people, doesn't really have that many friends. Then he meets this girl who watches this show called The Pink Opaque, which is also kind of like a throwback, a reference to old, like, 90s, like, Monster of the Week shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and other stuff like that, that the director watched when they were younger. And they watched this show, and it seems like the first half of the movie seems like a normal drama. Like, there's nothing like that horrific or, like, scary about it. But then the second half rolls in, and the girl that he meets, Maddie, she disappears for 8 years, and then he sees her again, and she kind of brings in the fact that the show they were watching, the final episode before it got canceled, when she went missing, the show got canceled, and the final episode of of the final season was the two main characters basically, you know, getting killed and buried alive by the bad guys, right? But then there was also the idea that they trapped them into a nightmare realm, or, like, I think it was called the Midnight Realm or something like that. And she brought up the idea, like, they are the main characters, and the reality that they think they're living in, or that Justice Smith thinks he's living in, is not real, and that they need to bury themselves alive so they can wake up and go back to the real world and stop the evil bad guy, Moon Guy, right? Which I think his name was Mr. Melancholy, I believe. The Mr. Melancholy, the main bad guy, that they can wake up and stop him. But Justice Smith, he listens to this whole monologue, but he denies it. He thinks it's fake, and he runs away, and he never sees her again, right? And then he just lives a normal life for the rest of it, but then later on he gets a family, and then he watches The Pink Opaque again, and it's not even similar. It's not even close to how he remembers it, and he's embarrassed by it. And then, eventually, it skips to 20 years later, and he's this, like, sick old man, you know, he's got to, like, take a breathalyzer, and he works at a dinky old, like, Chuck E. Cheese place, right? And basically his life is shit, right? And he's miserable. But the thing is, at the end of the film, it's like... So essentially, the end of the film says, or I'm sorry if this is a bit of a paraphrase, but I'm trying to quote it as best I can. The film basically says at the end of the movie, the world is content to ignore his screams that something inside of him is dying, right? Maybe not himself, but his soul is dying, right? Like him himself is dying, right? His true self is dying. That's basically what the end of the film is saying. And when he was watching the pink opaque when he was a kid, he saw a glimpse of what he could have been, of what he wanted to be, of who he was, but he rejected it, and he let it go, and now he spent the rest of his life being somebody he wasn't. And obviously that is an allegory for, transitioning, because in the show, who he was a she, right? But obviously when he got trapped into the world, he became he, but obviously it's more than that. It's an allegory, not an exact representation of transitioning. It's an allegory. But I do think this can be broader, as I've said. It can be broader. Like, it can just be living a lie, not being yourself. Not deciding, or not even maybe just denying the fact, like, that you're not yourself. You try to, like, fit in, I guess, is what it's trying to say. Like, you try to fit in with other people, but that's not who you are, right? Like, you're special. Like, everybody's special, but the fact is, you are just kind of trying to be everybody else, possibly. Excuse me if that's a bit of a rough interpretation. But I really thought the film was very powerful. I really thought the film was very emotionally driven. I really liked the message of the whole thing. I really liked the passion that was clearly put into it. I liked the performances. And honestly, the whole film was just really good and a very interesting watch. But which I find weird is that not a lot of people, but I looked online and there were some people that were saying, oh, it was boring, the character work wasn't great, and this and that. And I just think that's kind of shallow, because I feel like the film, you need to kind of think about it. Maybe not shallow, it's just kind of dense, maybe. Because, I don't know, I feel like this film it's obviously slower paced, but it's not boring. This stuff happens. You just have to pay attention, right? And you have to listen to what the characters are saying. You have to pay attention to the events that are going on. Like, you can't just, like, switch your brain off and watch this movie. You actually have to pay attention while you're watching it. And I feel like sometimes people, when they go into a movie, they expect it to just be like, oh, you can turn your brain off and have fun with it. Some movies are like that, and some movies are great like that. Not every movie needs to be a big think piece, but again, the movies that are think pieces, that are, like, pieces of art, like artistry, like this one, I feel like you should try to go into it, like, trying to analyze it. You should go into it trying to look deeper into it, because that's the point, right? That's the point of art, right? Is to look into it, is to interpretate it. And I think the people just saying that, oh, it's boring and this and that, and I feel like, yeah, you can not like the film and think it's boring, but I feel like saying it's an awful movie because you just don't get it, I don't know. I just think that's a little harsh, because maybe the film's just not for you. Maybe the film just wasn't made for you. And that's fine. But I really think that you should give this movie the credit it deserves, because it truly is unique. It's very unique. And I genuinely think that you should go watch this film. I think it's very important. It's got a very powerful message, and it's got a very good theme. And I really think that if you're at all interested in A24 films, if you're interested in art house type films, I absolutely would recommend this film. And also, if you're looking for, like, an art house film, like, it's really beautiful to look at. It's very atmospheric. It's got a very great, like, moody soundtrack. It's got a lot going on. It's got a lot going for it. And I really think that if you're looking for that, like, visual aspect as well, this film is absolutely nothing to scoff at. This film is beautiful in more ways than one. And just watch this movie. It is very good. And while it may not be, like, I don't know how to describe, it's good, right? And if Martin Scorsese said he really liked your movie, then you're probably doing something right, because that's fucking Martin Scorsese we're talking about here. So I'd say absolutely recommend this film. And with that being said, I think I would rate this film an 8 out of 10. Very much enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. Very, very good. Atmospheric, moody. Very liked it. And, yeah. I think I've said what I need to say. Think of some peace. So, guys, hope you like this video. Share it with friends. Subscribe. Notifications on. Comment below if you liked it. And I've been Runtime HD. Off to find my true self. Glad that didn't hit anything. God damn it! No! I didn't think that one through. There's a TV right there, and I just watched the TV glow. I can't go back. I can't do it again. God damn it. I don't know what I'm saying. You don't understand what I'm saying. I don't know. You don't get it. You don't get it. Let's do it again. Okay. We good? We're good? Okay.
We're gonna have to do that over, man.
God damn it.